Hello. First of all, I want to say many thanks to our first customers. We were very excited talking to you and hearing your feedback. And this release is fully based on the feedback you guys left on our forum. And several bugs were fixed, and the most requested features were added. And the most requested feature was to add a masking tool that would prevent some areas of the mesh from being distorted. And in this tutorial I will show how having two scans of different facial expressions of an actor you can get to blend shapes using RAP and ZBrush. Our friends at company Digital Forms kindly provided us with a set of raw 3D scans of facial expressions of an actor. The scans are quite heavy. It is about 5 million polygons, so we had to decimate them down to 300,000 polygons in order to use in current version of RAP. If you take a close look at the scan quality seems very good. And the actor has a pantyhose or stocking on his head, and the stocking doesn't reflect the real shape of the backside of the head. And the scan also has several outliers and a few holes, as you can see. So it's gonna take a lot of cleanup work to turn the scan into a real production model, right? And now let's load a template model. We took a model from great open source project called MakeHuman, and if you look carefully at the base mesh, you will notice another source of problems. It has eyes and mouse pockets that should be preserved. Now let's see how RAP can handle this. First of all, the models have different orientation and scale, and let's fix this using Quick Alignment tool. To do quick alignment, at least 3 pairs of corresponding points are required. As I hit Align and Done, I have my models at the same scale and orientation. Now let's go to the registration mode and carefully specify pairs of corresponding points. There is a little trick. If you are not sure how many points you should specify, you can start optimization with no control points at all. If the optimization fails to match some specific areas, you can help the optimization framework by specifying control points for those particular areas manually. Okay? Make sure that points are specified at the same order. It might be easier to use textures as reference for specifying control points, but the current version doesn't support textures for now. We will add this functionality in our next release, okay? Okay, with this done, let's go to select free polygons mode. I do not want the back side of template's head to be fitted to stocking on the scan, as it doesn't reflect real shape of the head, and this is why I specify those polygons as free. I can do that with lasso tool, but it's much easier to use polygroups that comes with the OBJ file. And I will also include eyes and mouse pockets to free polygons, as I do not want them to be distorted as well. Now everything is ready for start registration. Let's hit register. Okay, the computation takes about 6 minutes, and at the end we have our final model. Note how the areas on backside of the head and behind the ears are preserved. Now let's save the model to OBJ file. And now that we have our neutral facial expression, we can move forward and match it to another scan of different expression. And as you can see, the scan and the template has a lot of differences, but this time we do not need to use quick alignment tool as they share the same position and scale. And now we should specify the pairs of corresponding points. This process is very similar to what I did for the first scan, except for another 8 points that I should add to fit mouse properly. So let me please skip this part, okay? Now we have our second model. As two models have share the same vertex order, they can be used as blend shapes. You can use any 3D software package to do that, but let me give an example in using ZBrush. But before that, let's save our second model to OBJ file. Okay, I have my first scan loaded, and now I'm loading my first template with the subtool. Now we can subdivide the template like 3 times. And using Ctrl Shift left mouse button, we can select the polygroup that relates to a face. And let's create the mask for this area. And we can also expand our mask a little bit in order to prevent artifacts and borders. And now we can project all the small details from our scan to our template model. Okay. Let's save this model as our first blend shape. And now let's load our second template and our second scan. Using the same process as we did before, we can subdivide it 3 times and using Ctrl-Shift left mouse button set only the polygroup that relates to a face visible. Let's extend our mask again to prevent from artifacts on borders. And now we can do a projection from our scan to our template. And here we have our second blend shape. I'm not going to fix small artifacts now, as my goal is to demonstrate the idea, not to do some real production. And I'm sure you can get a much better result with small fine-tuning. And now let's load our first blend shape as a layer. Okay. And here we have our morphing. Okay. The result is not very accurate, but I hope you guys got the idea. Note that all the inner parts, eye socket and mouth sockets are preserved. Okay, and this is it for this tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it and see you.